Hey, what's up you guys? Bloody Jacob here to bring you a horror movie QMR. This time we're going to be talking about Cursed, released in 2005, as well as Night of the Creeps and Shia LaBeouf and Disturbia.
Jacob here, meeting my icon, Catherine Isabel here.
Yes, first off, we're going to be talking about Cursed. Actually, well, a Wes Craven film. And starring Christina Ricci, Shannon Elizabeth, Joshua Jackson, excuse me, as well as, I can't pronounce his last name, but Milo. He's in This Is Us now. He's in Mob City with John Bernthal. Just a bunch of stuff over the years. But yeah, again, Wes Craven does a werewolf movie, okay? You have Wednesday Addams in the movie as well. Lizzie Borden. You guys should check out her work as Lizzie Borden too, by the way. Both the show and the little movie she did. Also I forgot Jesse Eisenberg. How is a Wes Craven werewolf film not a good thing? Well, studio interference, Bob Weinstein, and everyone else has screwed the fucking pooch and made it into one of the most bizarre and just sort of there and kind of bad, movies of the genre overall, not just the show genre, which is unfortunate because this should have been one of the best werewolf movies we've ever gotten. But it was just plagued with production issues. Reshoots were ordered. Any practical effects they're going to do with Rick Baker of all people, they were taken out and replaced with a shitload of CGI, making for some of the worst transformation scenes you'll see in a movie like this. And I don't know, it just feels like a really forced teen horror movie at this point, and it's just sad. And I still bought it. I bought it for cheap at a used store, mostly because of the cast, sort of, or at least for Christina Ricci's sake, and also just I gotta have this in my collection, right? I mean, come on. I didn't do it on purpose. The irony, though, right? But yeah, I watched this some time ago, and it was what I thought. I mean, I was hoping that maybe, hey, I'd still like it, because I've liked a lot of films that turned out bad, that, some people were more mixed on, or even films that didn't have a lot of interference, and, I still kind of liked them, and other people didn't, so I was trying to be optimistic, but no, it's pretty much what you hear. I mean, technically I've probably seen worse horror movies, but just the wasted potential of this, it's just so sad how much it got flushed down the toilet. Skeet Ulrich was also going to be a part of it at one point, of Scream fame. He's also F.P. Jones, Jughead's dad on Riverdale currently, in a pretty overlooked drama that lasted a couple seasons called Jericho. Really like him. He was attached to it at one point. I believe he was going to play, I think it was Joshua Jackson's character, basically, but then they kind of rewrote the character and he didn't like it, so he backed out. Smart move there. I think he's going to be Joshua Jackson's character. Yeah, that's it. The one who actually, turns him and everything. Apparently Derek Mears is one of the werewolves, too, and the movie still goes really fucking wrong. But yeah, I didn't care for this one. Christina Ricci, she is good in this. Well, just because she's her, but it is poorly written. The delivery from everyone else is pretty lackluster. I can like Jesse Eisenberg in the right movie, and he's semi-likable here, but they basically turn him into Spider-Man, by the end, and certain character behaviors are kind of inconsistent. I'm guessing because of all the reshoots and the rewrites and stuff like that. I don't know. It's shot moderately well. You can tell there was an effort to have some sort of atmosphere with it, but that sort of failed when they tugged down on the rest of it. Some of the lighting, I can see what they were going for originally, but again, just didn't come through well. I'm trying to think of positives to pull out of my ass here, but unfortunately I can't. And if I had to rate Cursed, I gave it a 6 out of 10 on IMDb, so like a D, or I'm giving it like a 64% or something like that. So yeah, let me know what you guys thought about Cursed. How good do you think it would have been if it had like little to no studio interference and they had made the movie they wanted to, and it had like Christina Ricci and maybe still Skeet Ulrich attached, And then next up, we're going to be talking about Night of the Creeps, which, funny enough, they had a reunion of that at the recent Flashback Weekend in Chicago, the horror convention I go to every year, but my stupid self hadn't watched it yet. And that whole panel there and a screen and everything, but I don't know, I felt like that was more for people who had, loved the film for years, and I didn't want to hear spoilers in the panel. I wanted to sort of enjoy it with everyone, if that were the case. But, from what I heard, the cast are all really, really nice to their fans and everything like that. They seem to be, of course, this is starring Tom Atkins, or at least, co-starring Tom Atkins. And again, on IMDb, I didn't even read the premise of Cursed, but that's fine. But on IMDb, Night of the Creeps, alien brain parasites entering humans through the mouth turn their host into a killing zombie. Some teenagers start to fight against them. And yeah, basically, prom night, so that's a, fun little high school, backdrop for a horror movie. And that's what it is, it feels like a essential classic 80s horror movie, and I just love the vibe to it, the music and everything. The actors had, that, classic 80s cheesy style chemistry together. I like the lead, Jason Lively. I liked Jill Whitlow as the, love interest, Cynthia. She got better and better as it went on. The best friend character, JC, as well. And yeah, the effects, most of the makeup ones are, pretty good. Not as much to them as some of the other ones in the genre, but, I thought it worked for, the style of the film. It's lit well, and it's paced well. I mean, it's not a long movie at all. It's an hour and 28, not even an hour and a half. But I quite liked it, actually. I'm glad I have this director's cut. And it's funny. The ending is a bit different. It says there's an alternate ending. But really, it's basically just like an extended ending. Really, it shows like an extra 10-second snippet. Just watch the director's cut, the one with the alternate ending. It just basically gives you more context than what the ending was anyway. But yeah, I liked it. I kicked myself for not seeing it earlier. But yeah, definitely check this one out. I mean, it's not one of my absolute favorites. But I think it was sort of, I don't know what Fright Night was for, vampire horror fans, in a way. Maybe. I don't know if I still prefer Fright Night to this, but this one, it feels like a classic horror film that everyone knows and talks about, but it's not, it's like kind of slightly under the radar too, unless you're a big genre fan or something. But yeah, so Night of the Creeps I liked. I'm giving it about a B. Somewhere around an 8 out of 10, or it would be like maybe an 84% or something along those lines. So yeah, very, very solid. Definitely check it out. And last, but maybe not least, I'm not sure. Or yeah, it's definitely at least better than Cursed. But we're going to be talking about Disturbia. Yes, starring Shia LaBeouf. This is one my girlfriend had me watch about a couple weeks ago, I think it was. And Disturbia, a teen living under house arrest becomes convinced his neighbor is a serial killer. So he's basically doing a lot of people watching, creepy, right? I'm sure the movie would, almost be banned or something just for that aspect alone these days, but He just needs something to keep his mind busy, so he's just seeing everyone's habits and, what they're up to, and he happens to catch a guy, kind of suspicious, and there's, killings in the area and everything. But what the premise doesn't really tell you is that Shia LaBeouf, his character, actually loses his father at the beginning of the film in a very tragic car accident. And that's probably the best part. I mean, right away from the opening, it sort of separated, at least somewhat, from other sort of home invasion, sort of across the street, killer movies like this. Again, I brought up Fright Night briefly, how that was like the vampire movie in Next Door. Well, this is like, serial killer next door sort of thing. Sort of a classic premise there for a horror thriller movie. And, I liked it because that car accident at the beginning, I guess, they're fishing or something along those lines. And the conversation Shia LaBeouf has with the father character, I guess it was actually mostly improvised between the two actors, so that's kind of nice. And the way they do it, Shia LaBeouf, is injured, but, gets out of the car, then he goes to look back at his dad, who's, unfortunately dead. And they don't show the dad's corpse, laying there either. They just show Shia LaBeouf sort of like, kind of subtle, like, facial build-up of, emotion, and seeing that, his dad is, gone right in front of him like that. And actually pretty good. Shia LaBeouf did a good job in this movie. I feel like he gets a lot of shit, for the Transformers films and, that Indiana Jones movie. But he can be, I think he's a pretty good actor. I hear that new movie of his, Peanut Butter Falcon, or whatever, is pretty good. But he's pretty competent here, and you have Carrie-Anne Moss as his mother, and they're sort of strange. Shia LaBeouf goes into a darker place mentally, after that, he's doing bad in school and everything, and, thus house arrest. One thing leads to another. Of course, the sexy, girl is next door, so he takes an interest in her. I kind of liked her as well, played by Sarah Romer. I thought Carrie-Anne Moss could have been given a bit more to do, because she can be quite a good actress, but she doesn't have a whole lot in this movie. David Morse, who I believe is in Green Mile, he's probably done a bunch of other stuff, but he's good as, the suspected killer. I feel like that role could have been played by a lot of people, though. But he was fine. And then the best friend character, Aaron Yu, he was likable, comic relief, type of character. Viola Davis also, as one of the detectives. A simple movie. I mean, there are, just tons and tons of these. So it's not totally unique, and you kind of gotta be in the right mood for it, but it does have sort of a fun factor to it, and then a bit of an emotional, side to it with, the father thing. Although after the beginning of it and such, and when he finds his friends and everything, the movie doesn't really go into that trauma again. I mean, there's no real reconciliation between him and his mom over it, besides Shia LaBeouf, eventually being, possibly right about the guy next door. I feel like they could have tied back to, him missing his father or something a little more than they did. It's almost like an afterthought as the movie goes along, but I still liked it a little more than I thought I would. I'm giving it like an 82%, B, almost drifting into B-, but I thought it was very serviceable, and definitely one of the better of the genre, perhaps, or at least, like, again, the home invasion, sort of, thriller thing. It's not so much a horror movie as like a thriller drama, I guess, but still I threw it in here. So yeah, don't mind having this at all, really. Let me know what you thought about each of these films. What have you been watching lately? You can follow me on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, like, subscribe, and I'll catch you guys next time. Peace.